What's up, YouTubers? So before we get started with this video, on first take, they're going to be talking about how Deion Sanders won his first game with Jackson State, and he also got robbed. So let's see what they have to say about that.
Following Sanders' news conference, the school told ESPN that his items were misplaced and found, but Sanders disputed that the items were misplaced in a series of tweets later Sunday, saying that his assistant walked in on a man in the process of committing the theft. And following Deion's tweet, the school said several items belonging to Coach Prime were taken from the locker room. Those items were quickly recovered and returned. Stephen A.
So it's absolutely ridiculous that somebody would steal from Deion Sanders. I mean, he comes to Jackson State, being the head coach of football, and trying to turn things around and try to attract more attention to the Jackson State, and somebody goes and robs him. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous.
What did you think of Deion's overall coaching debut?
Well, it was a spring football game. They won 53 to nothing, if I remember correctly. So I'm happy about that. Knowing him the way that I do, we're friends, we're brothers. I know what coaching means to him. I know how passionate he is about it. And although I would have loved to have seen him get the job at Florida State, and I think Florida State made a mistake by not hiring their superstar, obviously he's an alum of Florida State.
Well, the door hasn't closed on Deion Sanders being able to be the head coach of Florida State. I'm pretty sure in the next couple of years that they're going to be looking for another new head coach, and Deion Sanders will be right there. So right now he's just really getting his feet wet and being a head coach, and before you know it, he'll be at Florida State.
I'm very, very proud that this guy is associated with HBCUs because y'all both know how near and dear HBCUs are to me, being a graduate of Winston-Salem State, which is an HBCU. Having said all of that, here's what I would say about his reaction to getting his items stolen. It's incredibly unfortunate. It's embarrassing to Jackson State. I feel terrible that that happened to him. I haven't had an opportunity to talk to him about this yet. My immediate reaction is that I would have handled it differently, however. And the reason why I would have handled it differently is because the actions of a few, the criminal act, the unfortunate actions, the embarrassing actions, should not be a reflection on Jackson State. But that is how it may be inhaled.
That's exactly how it's going to be inhaled. And like you said, it's really unfortunate that this had to happen. I mean, of all people, Deion Sanders is there to make the program better, to attract high caliber recruits and get people to the NFL. And you have a few knuckleheads that have to go and rob him. And this isn't the second time Deion Sanders has been robbed at Jackson State. I think a couple of weeks ago when he first got to the school, his car was jacked. His car was someone broke into his car. So I mean, this is an ongoing thing, and if Jackson State loses Deion Sanders, they're going to be hurting because Deion could bring in some high caliber players. He can get players to the NFL with his ties and connections. So if Deion Sanders walks because of stealing and robbing and things of that nature, Jackson State is going to be hurting big time.
Grasped and interpreted by those on the outside. HBCUs have incredible challenges, as you all know that I've highlighted on many, many occasions, in terms of notoriety, cachet, interest, support, financial and otherwise. It is a challenge for historically black colleges and universities to receive those things. This does not help. It doesn't help when you go in front of the cameras on national television, although it's true, and although his emotions are totally understandable. I'm not blaming him for anything. I'm simply saying that if it were me, I would have handled it differently.
Nah, I think Deion Sanders did a good thing in bringing it to light of what happened. I understand what Stephen Smith is saying, but I am glad that Deion Sanders brought this to light to show people that what can happen and how we're going to handle it and move forward from this situation. It's going to be all about how they handle this, how they prosecute and give prosecute whoever did it to the full extent of the law and punish them and show that Jackson State that's not what they're about, and they're going to take care of whoever does something on this level. It's all about what they do now moving forward, and to show that this isn't going to be tolerated. Because like I said, if Deion Sanders leaves, Jackson State is going to be hurting, and that's only going to close the door on other high-profile coaches or players that want to come and coach for a school like Jackson HBCU. Actually, it's going to deter them. because why am I going to be coaching someplace and I'm getting my stuff stolen from me out of my car, out of my locker room? And another thing is the person that actively saw somebody stealing from Deion Sanders, the coach's office or the locker room, wherever it was at. I don't know why that person beat down that person that was stealing from him, trying to steal stuff. I mean, I still haven't heard much about that part of the situation. But again, this is absolutely terrible. I want to see what they're going to do moving forward to prevent this because it makes Jackson State look bad. It makes the city of Jackson look bad. It's just a bad deal all around. But now it's all about how they're going to handle this and move forward.
I wished he had handled it differently because I think that people are going to use that as an excuse to sit up there and say, all right, now tell me why my child should go to Jackson State. And those are the way that, when people are against you and you are operating behind the proverbial 8 ball and you have those challenges coming up, unfortunately.